Shane Gillis bombs on return to Saturday Night Live. It's fair to say that any host might have a rough go on the weekend after the grand 50th anniversary special of Saturday Night Live. But tonight felt specifically grim. Perhaps Lorne Michaels was being calculating when he booked comedian Shane Gillis for the gig. After all the build-up towards last week's backslapping, misty-eyed celebration, why not invite someone to throw a beer can at showbiz in the liberal Hollywood elite? There's a sect of Gillis's fans who love him because they think the people they hate him. He dunked on the woke set after being fired from SNL in 2019, only to be brought in as host 5 years later, which was an interesting enough source of tension on his first go-around. But Gillis needed to up the ante on this return. His humor can't just be in opposition to the idea of a reflexive response, saying, "Look, I get it, you guys are pretty liberal here," as he did tonight when a joke didn't land, is like blaming the ref when you miss your own shot. Sometimes boundary pushing is just code for bad material. Gillis's monologue had the potential to surprise. He opened on Donald Trump's return to office, noting that the president is already hitting us with fifth-grade level ideas. Comedians taking swings at targets their core base don't see coming as interesting. But then Gillis got muddled up in an Iceland/Greenland bit, and his dig on how Joe Biden used to space out behind a mic felt old. He never did land his bit about white guys' fixation on whether the women they're dating have ever had sex with the black man, despite clumsily circling back to it at the end of the monologue. When he described a noxious exchange with a woman who responded, "You, no," when he asked if she'd been with a black man, even the band looked weary. Gillis went on to describe his love of Ken Burns, painting a depressing picture of him drinking alone on his couch while never making it past a first episode, and using the historian to put women he was sick of listening to sleep. Who needs roofies when we have the history of the buffalo? Who needs Tylenol PM when you've got this monologue? At one point, he got himself so tangled up in nothing that Gillis admitted, "I don't know how to get out of this joke." At the end of his monologue, Gillis winced and gave the front row a SOSO gesture. It was hard to tell if he was rating himself or his reception. Either way, Gillis made the exact same gesture at the end of last year's monologue, which means he's doing the worst possible thing a comedian can do. He's repeating himself.